Hey, what's going on, Wealthy Legacy Journeyers? Welcome back to the Wealthy Legacy Journey. I'm your host, Kendell, coming at you from the official Wealthy Legacy Journey studios, aka my bedroom, because all of us solopreneurs have to start from somewhere. The title of today's episode is Fundamental Fun Money Changes, and we're going to be talking about a couple of different things in today's episode, but that was one of the core things that's changing from my perspective of walking through the Wealthy Legacy Journey, of what it feels like to go through this process and how I want to structure everything in order to create a system that encourages growth, but also doesn't break the person going through that journey. And so Libby and I have actually been talking about this potential change for several weeks now, about what it would look like, how it would affect the budget, how to account for it, how it feels inside of our life to be limited on the fund money, and all these different aspects. And I think we've come up with a really solid solution. We're also going to be talking about some things that happened with Libby's art this week, some trading stuff, and some RV stuff, which might not apply to everybody, but it is a big part of my life as we live in an RV right now. So with that said, let's start off with talking about what is this fun money fundamental change that we are going to be making. Well, that is actually we're going to be adding to our fund money account from active income. Yes, you heard me right. So money, right? If we break it down, you have active income, active investment income, passive investment income, and then passive income. And so really here at the Wealthy Legacy Journey, we just focus on the first three. Any active type of income is trading your time for money. So straight active income is simply trading your time for money. This would be like a day job where you go in, you get paid maybe $20 an hour, $100,000 a year, whatever it is, you get paid some certain amount of money over time, and that's how you get paid. Active investment income is trading your time and money for money, right? That's a lot of like what I do in the stocks. Every day that I sign on and I go to day trade stocks, I have my money that I'm deploying in the market, but I'm also sitting at the computer making those trades real time. Then you have passive investment income. If we were to look at the stock side of things for an example of what that would look like, that would be like receiving dividend income from companies that I already own on long-term trades. I don't have to do anything to earn that money. I just hold a position in that company and I get paid dividends. There is some occasional research and analyzation that I might do into that company, but I'm not on a regular basis, day to day, looking into it and doing work in order to receive that cash flow. So I hope that makes sense. So for any of us kind of in the beginning parts of the Wealthy Legacy journey, which is, I would say I'm more in the beginning part myself, myself. Um, this is where we're going to be looking at, we are mainly from our income trading our time for money. We're looking at that day job, right? I have a day job and then I'm also investing. We are working on building up skill sets and to make more money investing. I've made a lot of money investing in real estate in the past. As I'm branching off on my own, I'm really having to figure out, do I want to stay in the investing road? Do I like the stocks more? I'm kind of exploring all options and figuring out what's the best for me, as far as like my skill sets and expertise and what I'm comfortable with. And there's just a couple of other factors in there that honestly lead me towards stocks being the best situation, but neither here nor there. What are we doing with the fund money? Well, for right now, Libby and I's, like I said, 90% of our income, I would say, comes from active income. But at this time, before we made this change, we had it broken down where 20% of active investment income would go to fund money, right? 30% of passive investment income, as far as like profits off of investment, you invest into something, you have your profits, you take your profits. 20% of, if it was an active investment income, 20% of that would go to fund money. If it was a passive investment income, 30% of that would go to fund money. And the rule had been is that 10% of active income that's over and above what I would typically make, like if I had some sort of side hustle or something like that, 10% of that would go to fund money. That's where we're making a small adjustment. So Libby and I have kind of been in this place where we haven't gotten to, go pay to be on dates and go do like fun stuff. And we really started to feel like we were really just absolutely broke. Even though we had paid off our debts, we had lots of cash flow, we have money going into different investments. It felt like we were broke because we had no additional money to spend. We couldn't afford to go on dates. We couldn't afford to go do things. And that was just really difficult after all of the change and the sacrifice and selling of our home to downsize into a fifth wheel to create that cash flow, all the things that we've done to, selling the truck, having to let go of the farm, just downsizing our life, downsizing our responsibilities. There's so much pain that you go through when you downsize your life, and it's been really good. It's created a lot of cash flow. It's created a lot of stability. We have over a 6 month emergency. We have a 6 month emergency fund. Technically, a lot of that money is deployed, but right now it's just sitting in cash. But we're now building beyond that level. And so we have lots of cash, but we weren't allowing ourselves to tap into any of it. And so what we decided to do was take a step back. And at first we were like, do we give ourselves, an allotted dollar amount per week? Do I give ourselves an allotted dollar amount per month? Like, how do we break that down? And the problem was with giving ourselves just a set number to spend every single week or month is it really had nothing to do with how much money we made, how much cash flow we created. And so we went back to the drawing board. And as I was talking with Libby, I said, I like the idea. I think we do need to have some freedoms in our life so we don't feel broke. Like, right, we've made a lot of healthy financial moves. I don't want to feel broke, but I also don't want to start taking steps in the wrong direction. So if we gave ourselves something crazy like $100 a month, or excuse me, $100 a week to go on dates and had lots of fun with that, and we were spending $400 a week, but you only had, let's say, $800, a month in cash flow. Well, now you're taking 50% of your hard-earned cash flow and you're just burning it out the door. I don't think that's really a wise direction to go with it either. However, if on the other hand, let's say that you're creating, 8,000, or let's just say for easy math, $4,000 a month in cash flow, well, then I don't think having $400 a month is too crazy to do some fun stuff because it's such a small allocation of that cash flow. You might see where I'm going with this. So we broke it down and said, hey, let's go back to that percentage-based model. But instead of it being 10% over and above, the traditional income, let's look at our expenses, right? And that's how we create our cash flow is we have money come in and then we tithe and we pay all of our bills, we allocate our money to all of our expenses, and then we create our cash flow. So this month in particular, let me see what the exact number is. I'm going to open it up here. This month we had if I can get this to open up here. Sorry, give me just one moment. I want to give you a real life example of what it looked like for us. So we had $1,485 of cash flow that we created this month, which is, all of those cuts that we made from our budget in order to put towards investment. So what we decided to do was we are going to take 10% of our active income cash flow, and that is going to be our fun money. So that's what we use for dates. That's what we use for buying, like fun dinners for like Friday nights. That's what we use for having most of the fun in our lives. The biggest thing that really goes towards is buying some like weird stuff that we wouldn't usually buy, for like Friday or Saturday and a movie night with the kids. We have our fun night, family night. Maybe have some sort of special meal or a special dessert. And then we use that also for Libby and I to be able to fund our dates and be able to work on marriage stuff and have fun. And it's not all just grind and hard and not fun in life, right? And so we set aside from that $1,485 in cash flow, $148.50. And so that was our fun money that we created from the month of September that went to our account that is a specific allocation just to be able to work on having fun. And it really feels so good. It feels so freeing because it really started to feel like, what is the point of this? If I were to correlate this to another season, I remember when Libby and I got together, I was 16, she was 15. We were together. She would know the story a little bit better than I would, but it was like 6 months, a year, something around that line. And we realized we had a long time before we got married. We really wanted to walk all the way through to marriage in purity. That was a big goal for us. And so in order to do that, we had to take a break from the physical. For us, it was really just kissing. And so we went on, I think it was like a year and a half that we didn't kiss. We'd hang out. We were dating. But we were building that friendship, that core friendship there. But I remember it hit this point where it was like, are we friends or are we actually like dating? And this was later in high school. This would be like, I guess, junior, senior year, probably like senior year or something like that. And really kind of had this like step back, analyzation situation where we looked at our relationship and was like, is this friendship? Is this dating? Because we don't have like any of the fruits of dating. We are holding hands and, hugging, but like no kiss, like no, nothing. Um, and, we realized like we wanted to take that step back forward because we really did want to date in order to get married. And so we started kissing again. And that was just like a small pre-taste of what marriage would have to offer for us after we graduated, got a little bit on our feet, got married, and it's been a crazy fun ride since then. So it's kind of the same way with this fun money. Like if we allow this journey to be too painful, too difficult, we're not going to want to see it all the way through to the finish line. And so, how do we allow ourselves to have some fun, some enjoyment in this season of difficulty where we've cut so many things out of our life, so many lifestyle things out of our life? How can we still have some fun and goodness in our life? So, if you're following us on the Wealthy Legacy journey and you're trying to figure out balancing what your, uh, money situation looks like, the cool part about using this system, once you're out of debt, once you've built up a 3-month emergency fund, I would say take 10% of your active, money cash flow. I would say if you're in debt, you got to be more aggressive about getting out of debt. Everything goes towards getting out of the bad debt. And then you want to be able to build up an emergency fund. You don't want anything to distract you from building up that emergency fund. But after you push through those two hard obstacles, start giving yourself some financial freedom in your life, right? Don't blow the bank, but 10% of that cash flow is great. And here's the best part. Now you have an incentive to create even more cash flow. So, for example, if Libby and I only had $500 a month in active income cash flow, that would only give us $50 a month for fun money. So, if we want more fun money, how can we do that? Well, we can either start creating passive investment income, active investment income, or we can create more active income cash flow. So that's what we've done. We've gotten really strategic about creating a lot of active income cash flow for investing, and now we get to take a small percentage of that. So that is the fundamental fun money change that I am making kind of to the framework of the Wealthy Legacy journey and what that looks like. Something else I want to talk to you guys about, though, that was kind of put on my heart this week is that God designed you and me and Libby and all of us perfectly for the adventure that he has for us. And I had this like word picture and put in my mind that I, kind of thought of. And I just was thinking, I was like, God made bears to rule the forest. He made birds to fly. He made trees to rise high, bushes to spread wide, vines to crawl. He made each and every one of those creations unique to serve out and live out a unique identity and a unique purpose. And it was because I was just struggling with some things this week, and I realized that God made me exactly who He intended me to be. And there is a perfect purpose and design in who I am. I do have something to offer the world around me. I was going through a moment where, over the last, man, how long has it been? 6+ years of being an entrepreneur, and just all the highs and the lows, and, feeling like I was becoming somebody and then crushing back down to zero, and just all of the pain that we've gone through over the last few years of a family as we've been trying to figure out the investing and entrepreneur thing. Just wondering, like, am I a failure? Like, am I going to be able to figure this out and realizing that God designed me to be somebody unique? And God intentionally designed me to be the way that I am. The way that I am is good. I just have to figure out how to work with it. So don't try to be something that you're not, though. And don't be ashamed of who He made you to be. Live fully in the identity that He has given to you, and don't hold back from the adventure that He offered to you by playing it safe. And I just think about years ago when I had some stable jobs. Would it have been better for me to stay with those stable jobs? But here's the thing, that when I look back on that in fullness of reflection, I realize I didn't want to live a life that was safe and boring and inside of a box. I want to live a life of adventure. I want to go to the mountaintops and the valley lows, and I want to go to all the amazing places that God has me to go in my life journey. But speaking of life journeys, sometimes things go the way that we want them to, and sometimes they just don't. And so this week, Libby actually did not end up getting to make it to her art fair. We were all very disappointed as a family. I was very disappointed too. Um, as we were rolling to the end of last week, on Thursday, it was like 8 o'clock. We put the kids to bed and realized, so last week what happened is we thought that the problem we had scanned some stuff and printed it, didn't come out very high quality. We were told the problem is, oh, we don't have a very high quality scan. So then we went to somewhere professional, had it scanned, had it printed, and it just didn't turn out well. So we did some more research and realized, oh, like most people who do art and then turn it into something digital, use Photoshop because they'll scan the art, bring it in, make sure that there's no imperfections from the scanning process, remove the background, all that kind of stuff. Then they have a digital image and they print that. So then we did the learning curve of Photoshop. You have Thursday night. We started at 8 p.m. Libby worked until midnight. She was exhausted. We had a couple of kiddos that weren't feeling too great this week. So I told her, you need to go to bed, rest up to be ready for the fair. I continued to work until 4 a.m. So I basically, after one work day, put in a whole another work day, even though I knew I was supposed to be up at 6 a.m. the next morning because I was planning to open up the market, which I did. So I didn't end up making it to bed till 4 a.m. I got 3 paintings done. She got one of the paintings done. So now we had 4 paintings. And so our goal was, okay, originally Libby had made 8 or 9 for this fair coming up, but we're like, hey, at least we've got 4 of them. We can make those 4 into now big, medium, and small prints. So that'll be totally okay. We'll have basically 12 different items to be able to sell at the fair. And inside of our minds, all it was at this point was that we had to go to the print shop, send them the file, and they could print it off. So we go to the print shop and we ended up getting there later than expected because we have 3 little ones that we're trying to wrangle. Print shop closes at 5:30. This is on Friday night. We were hoping to get out of the house by 3 o'clock. Didn't actually end up making it out of the house until 4:30. It's 30 minutes from us. So we got to the print shop at 5. That was after we dropped off the kids because we were going to have a date night. After going to the print shop, we were there until they closed at 5:30. Realized, oh, we have to have it in like a different file type. So at first we convert it to a JPEG, and then we convert it to a Photoshop. Then we tried to send them, or first we sent them the Photoshop file. That didn't work. Then we converted it to a JPEG, but it wasn't coming out high quality. Then I figured out there is a Photoshop PDF file that you can transmit it to that maintains all the color codes and high quality definition of the image. We did that. Sent it over. There was a problem. They were closing. So we had to shut down there. We went over to Office Depot, tried using their printer. We had one print that came out successful, and then the whole machine started bogging down. And this was pushing about 7:30. And Libby was like, Kendall, I really want to have a date with you. Office Depot closed at 8:30, and we were just tired. And so we walked away from Office Depot though with heads, even though it's disappointing, heads held high because we didn't quit whenever it came to facing adversity, right? We went after Libby had made all of these beautiful art paintings, thinking it'd be so simple just to scan and print. We scanned it, printed it, realized that there was something off with the scanner. So we overcame that obstacle by finding what is it that we need to do to get a high quality scan. Then we went and got a high quality scan, scanned it, printed it, still didn't come out the way that we wanted it. So we started doing more research, and now we realize that we also have to do Photoshop, and we need to learn Photoshop in order to do this process. So we overcame that hurdle of finding some people who had great tutorials for Photoshop, watercolors, how to do it all together on the internet. We studied their stuff, mimicked their process, made some changes for our specific art, or I should say Libby's specific art, and we finally had Photoshop right. Then it comes to you're looking at, this was Friday night, the fair is on Saturday. We go to print, we go to one print store, had to overcome multiple hurdles there. They closed, had to go to another print store, overcame a few hurdles before we finally realized we're not going to make this deadline. But now we're at a place where next Friday we've got everything pre-planned to where we're going to go to the print shop again down here in Cleburne, but we're going to have 3.5 hours to give to ourselves to get these prints perfect. And the next fair that Libby has is in early October. So she's got about 4 weeks left. And so this week, we're going to figure out the prints. Next week, she's going to make sure that her booth setup is all figured out, what she wants. She wants some frames, what kind of colors, this, that, and the other. And then for the rest of October, she's going to work on some more fall designs. And now we have our process. The same thing happened when we were working on Double Dare Your Money, which we are going to circle back to, and doing that eBay process, where we had to figure out each step along the way. And something that I've learned through doing the eBay process, doing real estate, doing tax sales, doing flips, doing land development, doing stocks, doing options, all these different things that I've tried and done and succeeded at and or failed at over the last few years, I've realized you're going to face adversity, major adversity in every single thing that you do because you don't know how to do it. You're going to try to take a step forward. You're going to realize what you don't know, and then you're going to have to overcome that obstacle. But see, this is the danger of analysis paralysis, where people get so hung up on trying to figure out how to do something perfectly before they even take a step forward, because it isn't until you take a step into the unknown that you truly know what you don't know. Because you don't know what you don't know until you finally figure out what you don't know, usually because you're faced with a problem or a situation that you just can't work your way through because you've never faced it before. So I would encourage you, take the next right step in whatever it is that you're trying to figure out. Set yourself a deadline, set yourself a goal, make it aggressive, do everything you can to push to that goal as if it is non-negotiable. When we were selling our house, we set a tight goal. We made it to that goal just in the nick of time. When we had this fair, we set ourselves a tight goal, and I'll be honest with you, we weren't as aggressive about getting it done until it came to getting to that last week and realized we were running out of time. But if we had never set a tight goal for ourselves, we would never run out of time, and we never would have gotten aggressive about the process. And whereas on the house, we did get that done in time, this one we didn't. But I would say we're probably 5 to 10% away from the finish line. And we are both feeling super confident that Libby is going to be ready to rock it at the October fair. So set yourself some goals, set yourself some deadlines, take the steps forward. Don't be afraid to fail forward as you figure out whatever process it is that you're wanting to do. Go knock it out of the park. So we didn't get to the fair this week, but this past week I also took 9 trades. 2 hit profit targets, 7 were still waiting. I put 6 on trades on Friday. It'll be interesting to see the results that those trades make through a tough month like the month that we were in September, which is typically a more rocky month for the markets. Now I can tell you that this morning, being early on Monday morning, I actually had, let's see. It looks like two of more hit stop losses and 1 more hit take profit. So now we're at 3 profits, 3 stop losses, and we've got 4 trades still on. And so it's about a 50-50 for this week. It's been really fun to work with building out this new strategy. I think I figured out a way to also use this strategy to short the market in order to give myself exposure on both sides of an index move, which is pretty cool. So I'm excited to play around with that to see if I can have any success and figure out anything in that arena as well. But we're still learning a lot about the trading stuff, and I would say that's going very well. This last week was our first week of, looking at specifically Brian Bottarelli in the war room to see if we're just trading his trades as a part of our mentorship program. Could we make money while we're trading? Maybe we couldn't make like full-time income, but can we create cash flow? The goal really is to create $1,000 a week. So last week, we did not hit that goal, but it'll be interesting because we had a bunch of trades still on from last week. So as we roll into this week, can we hit that goal? Yes or no? It's going to be a really simple question. Our hope is to be able to see profitability through that service. Then after all that, Saturday, I ended up on the roof of the RV and I was patching it all up to make sure that we didn't have any water leaks, because last week it rained a bunch. And one of the days that it rained, we saw some leaking coming through on the roof. And so we prayed. We're like, Lord, please don't let it like ruin our roof until it stops raining and I can get up there. Got up there, spent basically all of Saturday draining the pool, getting that stuff taken care of as we're rolling into the fall, getting the roof taken care of. Oh man, it was a really busy week. But something I want to just close and remind you guys here in closing is that, I did a lot of work this week. There was beautiful weather this week. Praise the Lord. But I want to remind you, just as I remind myself every single week, do not forget to take your Sabbath. Do not forget to have a day of rest. I found that I can get way more done in 6 long, hard days with 1 day of rest than I can get done in 7 tired days. And to be honest with you guys, Sunday is my favorite day of the week because it's just a time where I get to go worship the Lord, praise the Lord, learn more about God in an intimate and deep way. And then I have the rest of my day to rest. So even if you're working hard, just like I'm working hard, don't forget to include at least one day of rest in there. Don't forget about the fundamental fun money changes that we're making because you want to be able to make life enjoyable along the way as you build out this process. Don't forget that God designed you perfectly for his adventure that he has called you to. And don't just play it safe inside of the box, but go out on this wonderful adventure that he has for you. It is going to have some painful moments, but it's also going to have some beautiful surprises around every single corner. With all that said, guys, let's close out today's episode with our identity mantra. I'll say it first. You guys say it after me. I explore the unknown. I conquer new frontiers. My journey is powerful, and my wake is a wealthy legacy. And remember, guys, the definition of wealthy here at the Wealthy Legacy Journey is simply the ability to cover your monthly expenses without having to lift a finger. And the way we define legacy here at the Wealthy Legacy Journey is leaving a long-lasting impact on others who come after you as they receive the fruit of your labor, whether that fruit be good or bad. We can leave a good legacy or we can leave a bad legacy. The way that we produce the legacy that we're looking for is we have to think forward to what is that legacy? What are the fruits that we want to leave behind for others? Once you figure that out, take a step back. What are the trees that it's going to take to produce that type of fruit? And then take another step back. What are the seeds it's going to take to cultivate the trees that it's going to take to produce the kind of fruit that I'm wanting to look for? And today, you start making the decision to plant those seeds. So one day you can cultivate those trees. So then one day you can bear those fruits in your life and leave a powerful legacy. If you guys enjoyed today's episode, please like it. Please subscribe to the channel. It really helps the algorithm. Don't forget, in the description of the video of the podcast episode, there is a link to two Google Doc references. One is the Wealthy Legacy Journey resource page that has a ton of links and books and resources that have helped me in my Wealthy Legacy journey that I think will help you guys as well. And there is a link to the Wealth Health Checkup for if you don't know where to start in your Wealthy Legacy journey. It's a great first place to be able to analyze your financial situation and see where do you need to give your attention and your focus first. Thanks so much for hanging out with me on today's episode, and I will see you guys next week. Bye, everybody.